going on, Jeromes? So the Minnesota Vikings are set to take on Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons. Now, after the Vikings let Kurt walk to Atlanta and take in all the money, the Vikings signed up slinging Sammy Darnold, 1 year, $10 million, and he has become America's quarterback. America loves the comeback story. He is shaking off the bust allegations, and he's playing like a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback. He's easily top 7, top 8 in the league right now. Redhead redemption is certainly in, and Darnold is locked in as the Vikings are having a very fun season and a magic carpet ride. Frankly, a lot of it has to do with Sam Darnold, and 10 out of 12 of his games, 100+ quarterback rating. The Vikings are 10-2, and also stats wise, he is projected to end up as having one of the all-time great quarterback seasons for the Vikings, which is kind of amazing for a guy who just came in off the street and also had to replace Kirk Cousins and his numbers, and also had to fend off JJ McCarthy, but JJ McCarthy is waiting in the wings, coming off that full repair to the meniscus, and will be good to go. He is the future. He's only going to be 22 years young next season. Highest drafted quarterback in team history. So all of that is adding up to a very interesting offseason. As we said, Darnold playing extremely good and making this a tough decision benefits the Vikings, because the Vikings can tag and trade Darnold. They can have a small extension with him. He can the Vikings have the cap space. He can play on the franchise tag, but the options are going to be open this offseason. But long story longer, ESPN, the worldwide bleeder of viewers, Adam Schefter, who I don't know, I feel like Adam Schefter is obviously a JJ McCarthy fan because he's a Michigan man. But sources, Sam Darnold, Vikings haven't talked long-term deal. Despite his success replacing Kirk Cousins, quarterback Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings haven't had any discussions regarding a long-term contract, sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter. Have they had a short-term contract extension talk, though? Yeah. Darnold, who is scheduled to be a free agent after the season, is playing on a 1 year, $10 million contract. He became the Viking starter after rookie JJ McCarthy, the number 10 pick in the 2024 draft, went on injured reserve in August because of a torn meniscus in his right knee. Darnold's going to start anyway. People completely gloss over that. Darnold, who was drafted 3rd overall in 2018, has led the Vikings to a 10-2 record behind a career-best year. Through Week 13, Darnold ranks number 4 in the NFL with 23 touchdown passes, number 5 in yards per attempt, and number 10 in total passing yards. Before McCarthy's injury, Vikings coach Kevin McConnell said in August that the rookie had done enough in training camp to demonstrate that we got our young franchise quarterback. I believe in the building. McCarthy underwent a second surgery. It wasn't a second surgery. For the love of Christ. In November, remains on track for the 2025 season, and also full off season, which is actually important too. Darnold faces off against Cousins, blah, 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 blah. Now, if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl, just shut up and take my money. No, did we lose that one? Oh, we lost the shut up and take my money graphic. Anyways, but if Sam Darnold leads the Vikings to a Super Bowl win, I don't care. Give him the Jared Goff, the Trevor Lawrence contract. I simply do not care at that point. But Darnold, spot wreck, his market value is at $32.4 million. I think that's going to be a little bit low. That's in the ballpark of the Baker Mayfield contract. So I don't know. Like I feel like, especially since the free agent market is pretty sparse in terms of even bridge quarterbacks, but definitely plug-and-play potential franchise quarterbacks, as Darnold is only going to be 28 next year, as well as this quarterback class with Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, maybe Jalen Moreau. It's not going to be like 2024. All right, there's not going to be guys that you're just ready to turn the keys to the franchise over. So Darnold is going to be in demand, and I know that people have already said, well, why would you put the franchise tag on him? What would you do? So here's the thing. The Vikings can put the franchise tag on Darnold. They can already have the framework of a tag and trade in place with other teams. And Darnold and his agent, they want to hit free agency. So it doesn't really behoove them to sign the franchise tag. And the Vikings, if potential trades don't work out, they can rescind the tag. Right, that's how the game is played. So the Vikings certainly can potentially tag and trade Sam Darnold this offseason. If Darnold is a major part of the Vikings going on a playoff push, maybe they delay the start of the JJ McCarthy regime for a year, maybe 2. Who knows? Because as good as JJ McCarthy can and will be, I mean, Darnold is bird in hand right now. And yeah, the signing of Daniel Jones, maybe that does something. But the Vikings quarterback room next year is likely going to be a combination of Darnold and McCarthy, or Daniel Jones and JJ McCarthy. So TBD there. But I don't know, like, there's a reason why the Vikings and Darnold haven't had long-term negotiations as of yet, because generally the Vikings don't negotiate in season, and that includes with like GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah as well as head coach Kevin O'Connell and their respective deals as they head into a contract year next season. But with Darnold, like, a lot of it also is dependent on what the hell happens the rest of the way, right? And if Darnold gets hot and ascends and leads the Vikings on a magic carpet ride throughout the playoffs and deep into the playoffs and maybe a Super Bowl win, that definitely changes the calculus versus if the Vikings have a nice little run in the playoffs and maybe a one and done, maybe two and done, maybe whatever. That certainly does change things, but you have to really respect the way that Sam Darnold has stepped into a situation and gotten control of the offense and really left his mark on this team. And it's been really damn impressive. And I don't think he gets enough credit. I think that he is massively underrated because everyone just remembers, like, oh, he was the bust with the Jets. But no, Darnold is a major factor why the Vikings are 10-2 and why the Vikings do have Super Bowl aspirations, because Darnold's doing it, man. He honestly is. But is that going to be enough to delay the future with JJ McCarthy? It's going to be a decision that the Vikings have to make. The easiest thing is that he just walks in free agency. The Vikings get comp pick credit for 2026. But I do think that the tag and trade certainly is going to be viable, because I think that there will be a huge demand for Darnold, and the Vikings could leverage some nice draft capital in return for Darnold's rights. That is their prerogative. But we'll see. Like, is this a spot where the Vikings ultimately, like, they work out a 1-year deal, but they're able to fetter out some of the cap hits through void years and have a no tag clause in 2026? I don't know. Like, the last 5 games of the season and playoffs is greatly going to impact how this all shakes out, right? I think as of right now, I think Darnold is a massive dog to be back. Well, maybe not massive. I would say 20% Darnold is back with the Vikings next year, and 80% it's JJ McCarthy's show. And if Darnold leaves, I do think that Daniel Jones sticks around and has his Darnold in San Francisco backup type year for JJ McCarthy next season. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But hey, Sling and Sammy, keep balling out, man. Make this a tough ass decision for the Vikings. Keep upping your value, because that keeps upping your contract, and we'll go from there, man. So, anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Schefter reporting that no contract talks for the Vikings and Sam Darnold as of meow. As of right meow. Let us know your thoughts. Our thoughts, comment section. You guys know what to do. Skull, production value.